All right, let's do this. How's everybody doing? I finally did what I meant to do originally when I started doing Women's History Month. Or, as I put it, the Woman History Month. Finally, I'm now kind of ahead. I think I did it once or twice earlier, so I mean, like, I'm not always, but I get home and sometimes at like 11 o'clock, and I'm racing to get the one done. And one of the problems is that I keep thinking that, like, I should give them a little bit of time before I post the next one, and I'm like literally scrambling at the last minute every single time. It's like, yeah. So it's Shaka Khan's birthday, and I'm Every Woman is like I think perfect for a woman history, Women's History Month. I don't know why I didn't do Women History Month. Would be perfect. Would have been fine. But I put Woman History Month. Why am I hashtagging that? What's wrong with me? Don't answer that. Plenty wrong. We don't need to go through the list. We can always go through the list. Yesterday I spent about a half hour basically complaining about this freaking idiot, and he's sick. You can tell I don't like bullies. I don't like people, and I think that even my generation, even the boomer generation, I think that's how they learned how to argue. I mean, to the point where I'm accused of the exact thing that they think that they're doing. The exact thing that I believe that they're doing, I should say. Like, I'm just trying to, state my case, and, I did take debate. I do know how to debate things. It's not personal. It's not a personal attack. If it's something that's near and dear to your heart, I'm sorry, but I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking the thing that's near and dear to your heart. And I'm saying why your beliefs are wrong. And why I'm right. No, here's the thing about me and arguments. I want to be proven wrong. I want to be proven wrong. I want people to say things that are... I mean, I don't like it, but I want it. And the reason I want it is because my knowledge grows from it. Whether I like it or not is not even the point. But you have to be strong in your beliefs, not childish, not think it's a personal attack, to have an argument with me. I've talked about my religious beliefs and everything like that. just so you know, I had a strong belief in God. I had a strong belief in like doing what's right, tithing. I had a strong belief in all that stuff. In every aspect of it. Yeah, I was, you know, I might have been a Bible thumper. If I can imagine that. I can't, but I might have been. Yeah, I went to Catholic school, so I was with a whole bunch of Bible thumpers. Not a lot of people with diverse beliefs. There was definitely on how to believe as a Catholic, very diverse, and what you can kind of get away with, what is permissible. Is permissible in the Catholic Church. But my adopted father and my mom got divorced. And that's not permissible. And I don't know if the Catholic Church is allowing people of divorce as part of this, or they're excommunicated. I don't know how that works now, but when I was growing up, you were. It's kind of like Vlad the Impaler's story. For years in the name of God, he was defeating the Turks, so that was permissible. Little freaking country. They went around that country because he was so brutal. They didn't get the name Vlad the Impaler for nothing. But how he became a legendary vampire. As they know, he was adored by the church for his brutality, for murder, which thou shalt not kill is kind of one of the standings to be a Catholic, or just a Christian, or even Jewish. Killing in the name of God is permissible. Suicide is not. And as the story goes, or as the story I remember goes, I should say, there was a report that came back, basically the front of him basically murdering all these Turks, and putting their heads on spikes, or just impaling them. I think he impaled the whole bodies. I think that's how it worked. The whole thing. suicide. She throws herself off the ramparts and dies. Vlad realized, like, when he got back, she's now passed, and he wasn't going to commit suicide himself, but he thought that his good deeds, deaths in the name of freaking God, or Jesus, was enough to get his wife into heaven, because he wouldn't want to go to heaven without her. So he invited all the bishops and all the clergy and everything like that to have this big, huge dinner. And during the dinner, they had the discussion about that, because that's the reason why they were invited, so that that's the reason why he welcomed them into his home, so that he could try to persuade the voice of God to allow his wife into heaven. Now, all they had to do is just say, yeah, no problem. You're a good guy. Do this. Keep killing in the name of God, and everything's good. They could have said that. But, the big but, they didn't. They told him that it's mortal sin, blah, blah, blah. She has an eternal life of damnation in hell. So he'd rather not go to heaven. He'd rather go to hell. So he murdered all of them and kicked out the Catholic Church. And then, as the story goes, is that he didn't get his wish. He was eternally damned to stay on Earth and never. He can't go to heaven now, but he was eternally to stay on Earth as a vampire. As basically a living corpse. Stoker did the whole thing, and eventually released him of his damnation at the end. Which, for some reason, because of my belief, I remember the story differently. Even though I read it, I remembered it differently, because he could never be joined back with his wife. And obviously that's changed, and the end of the story, the sword kills Vlad, and that's it. He's gone for good. I still never, I never could reconcile with that. It's one of the reasons why, if I had to name a book, I had to pick a book, a popular book, that I would have, in my younger years, horror book, freaking Dracula, was one of my top books, and it hasn't been on that list since then. very well aware of the fact that I read what I wanted to read. And it wasn't until, it's kind of like bizarro. Like people talk about the Mandela effect. This isn't the Mandela effect. This is like, what I believe to be true as opposed to what actually was true. Fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, I never had that argument with people. It's a discovery that I discovered myself. But it was after many debates with people, many debates with priests, many debates with all these things about my personal belief, was I able to actually see the story for what it was. And it went from being one of my top, top novels. It is one of my real reasons of loving the modern novel. It was one of my real reasons of like everything. Age of Enlightenment is like an amazing time. The books during there are like amazing. And Dracula is one of them. And it's not. Because what it said was like, God eventually forgave it. That makes sense. But it goes back into like, but I was a staunch believer. And even, I will debate myself on things, on issues like that. So I'm not personal. It is what it is. I've had several. Who I am now is different than the person I was when I was 18 years old. Different than the person I was when I was 20. Different than the person I was when I was 30. And all those were very different people, but they're all still me. Back to the oh my god, I forgot the name of the boat. Begins with a T. But if you change all of the pieces, every piece of wood that made up the boat, is it still that boat? What is it? Every 7 years, every cell in your body changes over. So you're a different person than you were 7 years ago. And then you go to like people who are quote unquote immortal. And I think about that. The immortal people. If they changed over every 7 years, could they not be immortal anymore? Like the movie Highlander. Also one of my top movies, which is one of my top movies anymore. Because how I looked at films has completely changed. when people watch it, people are like going, "This is too fucked up. I can't even watch this stuff. This is like unwatchable." And it's my favorite movie. It's Jacob's Ladder. Just so everybody knows, my number one movie of all time is Jacob's Ladder. I could watch that. Somebody put on Jacob's Ladder. I could watch that movie from beginning to end without missing a beat, even now. I mean, will that change? It might. It might, Rabbit. It might. Change. I mean, that's the only constant, right? It's change. I don't know if every cell in my body changing over has like had the impact on my belief system. I don't think it did. I always think, like, you know, my depression, like, I've had that more than 7 years. I've had it for more than 30 years. I probably have had it my entire life, and I didn't even know it. I've always been kind of a melancholy kid, so it probably was always there, just needed a catalyst. Why hasn't that gone away or fixed itself or, you know, done what it's because it doesn't get fixed with the changeover. These are the things I think about. I don't know why I'm even, you know, like having this discussion now. When I'm scatterbrained, the reason I'm scatterbrained is not because I don't have anything to say. Far from it. I have something that's like right there freaking at the front of my mind, and a lot of times I'm like going, yeah, this isn't something, you know, this is something a little too personal. Not something I'm really working through or thinking about. Just it's there. It's the reason why I still talk about politics, because it's so forefront in my mind that I can't get away from it. And I try so hard to not do that. That's why when something like this comes up, that's more forefront of my mind. That's why I like that a lot better. Yeah, I'm not at a loss of words or loss of things. There's just too many thoughts, or I'm trying to change the story or the narrative. Because either I don't want to talk about it, or I really shouldn't talk about it. I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. And you get those too. I get those days too. Those days happen. The only reason I started this is so that I can help how I talk, so that I can be a better streamer. That's the only reason this exists. It wasn't really supposed to be a daily journal. It's just supposed to be random. You know, I actually even said like random thoughts. And when I started, I was just so mad at the post office. I'm wearing my post office jacket. It's cold. supposed to be some freaking random thoughts that just popped into my head. Just random. Heavy with heavy thoughts. But yeah, so I don't mind. I don't like how some people argue. I've kind of accepted it. I'm still the person that I'm mad at. I'm not mad at because we had an argument. In fact, I relish the argument. I thrive in the argument. As always, cool beans in the comments below. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a fantastic time doing it. I really do. As always, take care. And I will talk to you tomorrow, hopefully. Alright? Be good.